The first test sailing in North America is now underway. Carnival announces that guests will be able to go to shore via Carnival Excursion or independently. And we have a lot of housekeeping items to take care of. Let's enjoy some time together right now on Island Time. Happy Monday, everybody. This is Derek, your host of Island Time. And I first must say a huge thank you, as over the weekend, Island Time reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube in just 5 weeks. It is an unbelievable defeat, and it's all because of you and our community. We enjoy so much bringing you cruise news and experiences from our 10 years of cruising. We have met so many great people already when we took our trip to Port Canaveral. We're on our Facebook groups of the cruises that we're going on. And then, of course, our Island Time Facebook group. If you are seeing this video and you are not subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and the bell, and you will be notified when we put out our latest content that is very frequent, almost daily, if not daily. And as well, if you want to join the Facebook page, it is in the description below. And our community there keeps the conversation going all the time. We thank you so much, and we look forward to many more years of growth in cruising together. With that said, we have a big announcement. We are going to go live for the first time tomorrow night at 5:30 Central Time. Island Time will go live, and I'm so ready to be in a live situation where you and I can connect and interact live, talk about our upcoming cruises, excursions, experiences. We're going to have so much to discuss. I'm hoping that my wife Amanda also joins me, and we will have a great time together tomorrow at 5:30. Set your calendar right now and join Island Time live. Let's talk about cruising, because that is why we're here. That is what we love. And there's some big news. There really is some big news yesterday into today, as the first test sailing, the first simulated voyage from North America has gone. Yesterday, how about this? The freedom of the seas. Isn't it ironic? The freedom of the seas for Royal Caribbean left Miami with around, I heard 600 at first, and then today I heard it was 650 volunteer passengers and some very special members on the ship. You know who's cruising right now? It's not me, and it's probably not you, but do you know who's cruising right now? It's the people for the last 15 months who have said that cruising is not safe. It's the CDC. There are members of the CDC that are on board the freedom of the seas right now. And I can just imagine. I mean, I can imagine these girls and boys on the ship saying, what are we scared of? I hope that they're laying back right now on Lido deck, enjoying a drink, enjoying some sunshine. I hope the steel drums are playing in the background, and they're people watching, and they're seeing people have fun, and they smell all kinds of different food coming their direction. They see the great service that is there. I hope they are having a blast, but I'm kind of jealous because they are there and we are not. But right now, the first test sailing is underway. Royal Caribbean, of course, with this cruise, they made vaccinations optional. Okay, remember the CDC right now as it stands, and we know the Florida case. We've talked about it. Look at yesterday's video. Look at Saturday's video. But the CDC right now says 98% of crew vaccinated, 95% of passengers vaccinated. That's one route you can cruise. Carnival has gone that route, and Royal Caribbean has out of some states, but not Florida. Or if you don't want to go that route, individual ships can go the simulated cruises route. And that's what, of course, the Freedom of the Seas has done. Royal Caribbean said vaccines are not mandatory, and we can't ask you for your vaccine because we know what's going on in Florida, the vaccine passport. And so they did not ask necessarily for you to provide proof of vaccination. You could volunteer that information. And if you volunteered that information at check-in, you did not have to be tested for embarkation. And you received a nice wristband that notified you and everybody else that you're vaccinated. If, of course, you did not provide proof that you're vaccinated, then you had to be tested on embarkation. So this is a mixed group, a mixed cruise of both vaccinated and unvaccinated passengers. And depending on which group you're a part of, means that you have, it depends on what freedoms you have as well, if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. Guests are being asked to wear their mask when they leave their room. If you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, you're supposed to wear your mask. That's on the simulated cruise. There are, however, certain places on the ship that vaccinated passengers can take that mask off, okay? The dining room is one of them. They have separate dining rooms, and if you're vaccinated, you can take your mask off. We've heard even that some of the entertainment on board, the shows at night, are for vaccinated passengers, you take your mask off, and for unvaccinated passengers, you have to wear your mask. And so there's all kinds of things going on in regards to entertainment and the onboard cruise experience. And for some people, they're able to enjoy their cruise as they probably always have, okay? A very select and small group cruising, which is awesome if you've ever cruised. You know that it would be so cool to cruise with a ship that's almost empty, okay? Or is that 20-30% capacity? But depending on if you're vaccinated or not will depend on your freedoms, okay? Now, if you're not vaccinated, you have to first present a negative COVID test within 3 days of boarding. It has to be negative. You show up and then you're tested again. Of course, you have to be negative to get on board. And then you have to take a PCR test before you get off the ship toward the end of the cruise. Who pays for this testing? You pay for the testing, okay? Royal Caribbean announced that these 3 tests are $136 per passenger, and yes, you pay it. Is it worth it? That is up to you. Royal Caribbean says that voyages out of Florida, they are not requiring vaccines. If that's something you're interested in, know that you may have to pay this testing fee of $136, but that you can be part of a sailing that is not requiring vaccinations. And again, assuming we'll see what the government does, the state government of Florida does about it, but I'm just giving you options for now. Because the ship is carrying a mix of passengers, like I said, all guests do have to wear masks in certain areas. When you're walking around the ship, when you leave your room and you're walking around, you're exploring, you're looking at the ship, you're walking from one venue to another, you have to wear a mask no matter who you are. That's not something necessarily that I'd want to do, but at the same time, I really want to cruise, and if that's what I had to do, then of course that is what I would do. Now, let's talk about what the CDC is doing on board. They are on board, it blows my mind, but they are on there to see, do the protocols that Royal Caribbean has created in an office somewhere, put on paper, and trained their staff to go by. Do those protocols work? Is there social distancing in places such as the restaurants, entertainment venues, outdoors? Are people not around each other even though it's outside? There are protocols from the CDC regarding outdoor areas on simulated cruises and unvaccinated cruises. What are the embarkation and debarkation procedures? What do they look like? Are they safe? Is there social distancing there? Is there too many people in one area? What does seating and meal service look like, of course, at the restaurants and entertainment venues? And of course, and we hope we haven't heard anything, but if a passenger or a crew member had symptoms of COVID or tested positive, what would be the reaction of crew members, the medical staff, Royal Caribbean, and of course the Port of Miami? Those port agreements are in place. So the CDC wants to see that if something happens in that regard, will the protocols in place work to protect both those who are sick and those passengers and crew who are not sick. It's going to be interesting to see. They're also interested to see what Royal Caribbean has done with the casino, places like the casino, the spa, stores on board, and the such. So the CDC is on board looking at everything. And if, and this is a big if, the Freedom of the Seas can pass the test and show that the protocols work as they're designed to do, they will be able to travel with paying passengers on July the 2nd, I believe, July the 2nd. So it's an exciting time, it really is. And the same time that this is going on, Carnival's got big news as well. As Carnival confirmed, there's been hints of this, but they did confirm today that guests in July and in August will be able to go through Carnival excursions and independent exploration of the ports. Now we need to keep in mind that the ports may have different rules and regulations and protocols from one another. You may get to a port and may have to wear a mask at that port in certain areas. I don't expect you have to wear the mask on the beach, but maybe you have to wear it in certain areas or not. We will have to keep an eye on that, and of course we will. But Carnival did announce that you can go and explore the islands with a Carnival excursion or independently. And we've had so many people ask, what do you do? Do you book excursions through Carnival or do you book excursions independently? And so I created a small list today. This, of course, can be its own video some other time, but I wanted to explain just a few of the pros and the cons of booking excursions through Carnival and with independent locals at each port. First off, with Carnival, okay, the most important thing is if you book a Carnival excursion, the most important thing, I'll start with this, is if you book a Carnival excursion and something happens during your excursion, a boat breaks down, a cab breaks down that's carrying your passengers, maybe a travel bus, something like that, Carnival will not leave the port without one of the Carnival excursions still out, about, exploring, broken down, whatever the case may be. Carnival will not leave. They will stay there until your group makes it back to the port, makes it back on a boat, and then it's leaving. That is the biggest reason, of course, to book with Carnival. Another pro is if an excursion is canceled, or sometimes we've seen, like in Grand Cayman, when we can't tender in, when a port is canceled, then of course you receive a refund, and the refund process is very simple. You book through Carnival and you were charged through Carnival, Carnival refunds you. It's very, very easy. Whereas if you go independently, you're going to have to fight to get your money back. And I've been through it before. I've been through it where the boat never did make the port. We missed it. It's no fault of mine, but the local person there kept my money. Okay. So, and I'm not pushing for going through Carnival right now. I'm talking through the pros, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of times we don't go through Carnival, but I'm giving you the pros right now. Carnival, of course, another pro is Carnival partners with what they think is the best operators, the best tour operators there. Those who know English fluently, they know the islands fluently, they've proven themselves to be safe, their equipment is safe, and these locals know that if they don't provide the experience that is expected from Carnival, that they will no longer be a tour operator of Carnival. And so they really do try to give you the best service, to have the best snorkel gear and the best maintained boats and things like that, because they know it's very important to that relationship. And I would say another important factor in booking with Carnival, excursions with Carnival, is the fact that you can book, of course, before your cruise sets sail, or if you're not sure what you want to do, you get on board. You can, of course, book right there on board from your stateroom. You can book from the app. You can go to the Shore Excursions desk. So really, it gives you some last-minute type of decision-making opportunities if you didn't know what you wanted to do until you got on board. There are some cons to booking with Carnival, and here they are. I found that a lot of times excursions through Carnival directly are more expensive than independent adventures. And for some people that may be okay. You might say it's worth the money to go with Carnival, and if that's the case, that is great. I'm just telling you that it is a fact that most of the time they are more expensive. At the same time, they are also more crowded. Amanda and I love to be on the water. We love to snorkel, go out on catamarans, sunset sailings, things like that. And a lot of times there will be 50, 60, 70 people on these catamarans. We've always felt safe. And you might like that. You might think, well, there's a party atmosphere. That's me. I'm the life of the party. Or you might want something a little bit more quiet, something that has a smaller group, that you get more individual attention from those that are working the excursion. That's totally up to you. It's just an observation, of course, for me. And then Carnival, some of their excursions are limited in scope. They maybe hit the high points of what the local island is all about. But if you want to do something that's really in depth and is ingrained in what the island is, sometimes Carnival doesn't offer that. And it could be for various reasons. Maybe it's too far away. Maybe there's some risk there. We've done some things where you have to travel 3 or 4 hours, and it may be through areas of the island that you really don't want to travel through. But sometimes Carnival's excursions are limited as far as activity and diversity. Okay, independent travel. Here we go. A lot of times we go through independent travel. That's both us exploring ourselves, maybe renting a car, but that's also booking through independent locals. On TripAdvisor is a big source, and of course our Facebook groups, you can find all kinds of people on there as well. The pros of independent travel is that sometimes they offer things off the beaten path. Maybe something that you do have to drive 3 hours away to. It may be something like in Belize that you go to Key Cocker. There's all kinds of different things that these independent contractors and shore excursion companies can provide an experience that maybe Carnival can't. Okay. A negative of that is you may have to drive somewhere. You may have to catch a taxi to go meet a boat in a marina somewhere. Whereas with Carnival, a lot of times, if you book through Carnival, sometimes your group will leave the ship together, or as soon as you get off the ship, they will be holding up signs for your excursion. So sometimes it's a little bit tougher to get to these independent contractors, but it can provide and enhance your experience so much. You can go to a private beach, for instance, that no one else is at, but everyone else went to the beaches that are within 2 or 3 minutes of the port. If you go 10 minutes away from the port, there's beautiful beaches and they're not as crowded. A lot of times independent shore excursion companies have smaller groups. We've cruised I don't know how many times and done excursions with groups of like 6 people. You go snorkeling with 6 people. It may be an all-inclusive type of thing. There's something at Cozumel I'll share with you at a later time, one of our favorite excursions ever, that it has XM radio. It's all you can eat. Tacos, you get to deep sea fish. You get to snorkel, you go to a private beach, and they only take like 10 people a day. It's really, really cool. But for some people, they want the larger crowd. They want that interaction. Some people want it to be quiet. So it's all subjective. And then, of course, independent. We've noticed that independent operators are much cheaper, sometimes 20, 30%. The prices are negotiable. If you have 4 people, 5 people going, they can usually offer a discount. And so that is also a pro. A con is there's a risk of them sometimes not showing up, or maybe their office or boat is hard to find. Maybe they cancel and you never hear anything. That happened to us one time. We had plans, we paid for it. No one showed up to the boat. We had the instructions where to go. We showed up, nobody was there. We did get our money back, but there's always a chance that, something like that could happen. And of course, the big one is that if something happens that's very unfortunate on your cruise, on your excursion, Carnival's not going to wait for you very long. They will wait, hey, 10 people are not on board, let's wait a little bit, but eventually they will go. So that's the big negative there. I also want to throw this out there. For an excursion, have you ever stayed on the boat? Amanda and I have stayed on the boat before, and for our excursion, we've had a spa day. You can have couples massages. A lot of times on port days, if you get a massage or a spa service and the ship has a Cloud 9 spa, a lot of times you can get a 1-day pass to the thalassotherapy pools, to the steam rooms, because they're not used as much that day. So if you want to stay on the ship and you want to spoil yourself to an empty ship, all the restaurants are open, your drink package works, go to the spa and spend money on your excursion for a spa. Okay, that's also another option. Do your research, look on TripAdvisor. There are excursions that have thousands of reviews that are they know that if they mess up, that people will go on TripAdvisor and blast them. So they know they have to deliver a good product and a good experience. They know they can't be late for the ship or they're going to be blasted, and that's going to be the end of their livelihood. There's so much more we can go into, and we're going to in future videos. But I did want to just share some of my thoughts on excursions, Carnival versus independent agencies, just because of Carnival's announcement today. And I know that so many of us are looking for our excursions right now. We cruise next month. We are so ready to do so. It's been pent up. We want to have a good experience in these places. If you need help with excursions or ideas, we've been to every port that Carnival visits. We've been to most of them that Royal Caribbean visits. Just yell at us. I mean, comment below on this video or on Facebook, and we will help you out with an excursion for sure. At least tell you what we've done. We don't book them for you, but we can point you to someone probably that can, or a website that can. We're so happy to be part of the community. We can't wait to go live tomorrow at 5:30 Central Time. We will be live. We can't wait to interact with you then. Until then, that is it. A deep breath. We're over. We're done. There's a lot going on, and we are proud to be right in the middle of it. We always will be. Thank you for your time. It was great to break away from work and from everything going on in the world, and we will see you tomorrow on Island Time.